Welcome back to Two Canadians at Kafe Lise, a Vigor podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Anton, and with me is the other host, DJ Spencer.
Hey.
Hey. It's episode 44. We're going to be talking about the 12.1 update that's coming out, the preview. But first, please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate it. Just a little reminder at the top to put that in your brains to make sure you get it.
Yep.
But yeah, they dropped the NDA this week. So this is a week of, so it's July 23rd right now as we're recording. When this comes out, it'll be the usual drop time when you see this. So it'll be on the Monday, the 28th. And yeah, so this past week, they dropped the NDA. So the partners were able to start talking about it. So we grabbed all the info, and we'll talk about it a bit here too. Obviously, we are borrowing info since we don't have access to the preview build, but we wanted to get in and talk about it a bit and give our thoughts. Of what they've shown us. Yeah.
And we grabbed stuff from Half Metal Fox,
and
Dizzy Online, and War Dog. And I know Brian Evans actually put a video out as well.
Oh, so I have to check that out. I haven't checked it, so I will for sure.
Christopher Beast too. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Christopher. Yeah, don't forget Christopher Beast. He definitely has some stuff out too.
Yes.
So yeah, we borrow where we can, but we always give credit. And so we'll always make sure there's links in the bottom in the description. So please check out their videos as well, videos and VODs like from YouTube and from Twitch. So, but yeah, so we have a bit of a preview here of the 12.1. They didn't mention a release date, but quite often it's been very typical that when they drop the NDA and people can start talking about it, it's almost always the week after. Maybe it'll be two, but I wouldn't be surprised if this coming Wednesday it's out. So
yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, starting off, I'll just show us the loading screen that's going to be you'll be seeing as the update loads. Just blur ourselves out for a moment, but it shows what's new in 12.1. Huge pool of new challenges added. New report system. So that's going to be interesting. Drop shotting was mitigated. We don't have any videos or anything like that, but we can describe what they've done. Stagger functionality reworked. Game guide improved. That's quite nice. Legacy Season 8 is dropping as well. And new premium pack Expedition Absolution will be arriving. So a new premium pack to take advantage of. So that's kind of cool. They've been pretty good with these premium packs. They've been releasing new ones and cycling them around too. So each season they seem to do a special premium pack for the season. I think in the last season, the Viking season, it was the was it the Renegade? No, what was it called? It was
Berserker.
Yeah, there was a special Berserker outfit in the premium pack. The season before, it was like the Adam outfit, but with what did they call it? Because it had the special hood.
Frogmon or something like that, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Frogmon. What it was called.
Yeah. So it's going to be, it's going to be. I assume it's going to be something like that. We have two outfits, and which one do you think would make a better premium outfit? Do you think it'd be like the?
I'm trying to think of the names
on
now.
The screen now.
I would think it's the one that's at the front, the forefront.
Yeah, because the other one is almost a little too bulky, and like a kid in a winter suit kind of outfit. It's a nice outfit, but it doesn't scream premium to me. Whereas I think they could do something interesting.
Yeah, I think there's more they could customize color wise too on the front one. Compared to the other one. Doc, now I'm a little curious because so I remember for I think it was Vengeance with the Frogmon, that was actually the one that was up at the front, right? So I'm wondering if the Berserker was in front for last season for the splash screen.
Good question. I'm going to take a quick peek. This is going to be really fun for people who won't be able to see this.
I'm quickly looking at the splash screen or the past update.
That's what I was going to do.
No,
too,
it wasn't.
So
it was not. No.
So it was the other outfit.
It was
the Gene outfit that was front.
Yeah, it looks like that's the one that's prevalent.
Okay.
So,
well, it could be.
No. So okay,
way,
so yeah, it's not. Yeah. It may or may not be that one, but yeah, I would think that would be the one that's prevalent.
Anyways, just looking at the two, it does seem like the one that would have better,
customizations and whatnot.
Yeah,
make it fancier.
Yeah, it could be. It could be interesting. So I'm looking forward to see what it actually looks like.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious what the pricing will be, because they've lowered the pricing rate recently of the last couple of seasons, and especially like we were talking about the Frogmon outfit. That pack, the Path of Vengeance is what it was called. That pack is still in the shop. So and currently in Canadian dollars, it's $39.
Okay.
But originally it was, I think was it $99? Or was
but
it
I think they've also adjusted the amount of crowns that came with it, though, too.
Yes. No, I know that. I'm just saying how like it was originally. So
I think it was like $80 US maybe when it first. And then maybe closer to 99 Canadian approximately.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sorry, we deal in Canadian currency here, not US dollars.
Well, I know. I'm just trying to remember what was advertised, though. So.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, we'll talk about it, and we have a few clips that we've borrowed that we can show you, not clips but images, as we're talking about the different things. So as we go through these, we'll be throwing some stuff up. I guess to start is challenges. So they've added to the challenge pool. We haven't seen a lot of what they've done, but we've got a couple things. And from the looks of it, and I'll bring the first one up here, the challenges that they've added are all around the special game modes, the alternate game modes, as opposed to eliminations. So we don't know. We haven't seen anything yet that shows that they've made any huge changes to the elim challenges or not. But you're going to start seeing, like here,
we can see that
there's. Yeah, that's what I meant. Encounters. I said limits.
I was like, you said it twice. I was like,
I meant encounters. Yeah.
But they've added the shootout and elimination game modes to the challenge.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
So,
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's kind of neat, but it's going to give people, I guess, more incentive to definitely go in them, because quite often when I'm playing, for a few hours, I don't touch those modes very often at all. So if I have a challenge to go in there, I'll probably definitely be going in there for a few games. Like here we're seeing score 1,000 or more points in shootout. It'll get you some the new L86 LMG parts and chems and 1,000 XP. And then kill 15 opponents in shootouts. And it says shootouts, so it's like, it can be over multiple, obviously. And you get a military crate, 5 weapon parts. I can't quite tell which weapon that is, and 2,000 XP. So that's a couple examples of what you'll see in shootouts, and there'll probably be variations in all these. Like they like to do that, where it'd be like kill 5 people, kill 20 people, so with varying levels of XP and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be similar like that. And then for elims, we've only seen one example so far, and it's another point one. And I could see the same thing with the elims also get so many kills in the limbs.
Yeah. So Wardog on Dizzy's stream actually mentioned that he had win or be part of the winning team on eliminations too.
So there we go. Even just
and it would not surprise me if there's something similar for like shootout, or where it's like win a shootout or something like that. Maybe it's one of those tough challenges, because don't forget, like for encounters, we have like kill a threat or become a threat as challenges, which they're fairly tough, right? So maybe shootout. I know some people have shootouts pretty easy for them to get the win. But like some people might struggle with it, so who knows? It would not surprise me if it's in there. But I love the fact that they've included these game modes in the challenges. I think it's long overdue.
Yep. I would also
you
be
kind of
surprised. Oh,
go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, I would also be surprised if we see use so many boosters in elims and shootouts, because they have that in the
Oh
counters as well.
yes,
So
yeah, and currently it doesn't count, right? If you use a booster in eliminations, that
right,
it
it
won't
didn't
count
encounter
with it. Yeah,
the encounter ones. Yeah,
yeah. Um, it was kind of funny that you mentioned like maybe it'll get more incentive for people to play the other game modes.
yeah,
I honestly want to say that eliminations is not an issue, because I know there's quite a few people who are just like literally grinding crates
yeah.
because the rewards are pretty
Are really good.
generous.
And
I would like to say,
I'm
but
yeah, I'm just thinking like it's like for myself, I don't play it every single day. Like there was a time where we were doing it, usually for half an
mhm,
hour at the end of a stream or
yeah,
something. Um, but this new season, I haven't really been doing a lot of it. Um,
hmm
so it'll get me back in there a bit more. And sure, there's a lot of people grinding it, but there's also a lot of people
yeah,
who aren't touching it. So
yeah,
the people who aren't touching it, maybe it'll give them a chance, to get in there, get
yeah.
frustrated by all the people who are grinding it, and but at least get their challenges done, maybe.
Um, one thing to note, and I haven't seen it yet in any of the videos, but it was actually mentioned after the season launched that the next update was going to remove melee kills from the challenge pool. So
Ooh, that'd be nice.
maybe this is chat. We are not going to see melee kills anymore in the
Oh,
challenges, which
I
would be
sure hope so.
exciting.
It would be.
But
It would be. They're
yeah,
adding all these new challenges in here. You could at least get rid of the melee challenges.
yeah. And another thing too I'm curious about is this is another step, right, in the rework of challenges that they have mentioned in the roadmaps and previously in dev streams. Is this the final thing that we are to expect for changes to the challenges, or is there more coming? Like we've thrown out the idea of maybe daily, weekly, and monthly challenges or something like that. Are they going to go that way? I don't know. I'm curious, but let us know in the comments what you guys think of the changes
Yeah.
to
It would be kind of cool if they had like a
the
longer
challenges.
running challenge. They have these ones that reset daily, but then have one or two that reset at the end of a week or something.
Yeah,
That would be kind of neat,
yeah. Well,
and make
like I
them worth
said, right?
more.
Yeah, make it worth more, or like you do, like I said, the monthly challenge or something like that, where it's like you get a special cosmetic, or maybe the weekly challenge gives you a special like gun skin or something like that.
Right.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Anyways,
Yeah, but that's what we've seen for challenges, and some of the things we maybe suspect that'll come for challenges, and what we've heard about. So that's
yeah.
all good. It's exciting. It's nice. Uh, so yeah, can't wait for it. What's
Yeah.
next? Uh,
The new reporting system.
yeah. Why don't you take us through that?
So the new reporting system on the Xbox, if you hit the button in the middle on the right, which is I think is the three lines, that pops up the screen where it's like you have like the settings, for everything. If you tab all the way to the right, there is a tab called Last Player, and that gives you a list of all the players that you've recently played with. Um,
Yeah.
and then you could actually go pick one of them and then report them for one of three things. You have AFK intentional dying, which says disconnected, AFK present but not participating, and purposefully dying. Next one is negative attitude, offensive gestures, offensive hand gestures, taunting and griefing. And also the last one is a cheating, unapproved third-party programs, abusing glitches. So once you select one of these options and submit it, you're going to get a screen that says, thank you for your report. The Outlander you reported will be put under surveillance. They will be investigated upon based upon your complaint. Reckless reporting can have negative impact on finding suitable opponents in for future games.
Yeah.
Which I find that a little intriguing because
there's a lot to unpack with all this.
Yeah.
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 Because like finding suitable opponents for future games. So what does that mean? Is that like are they just going to throw you with other people who've made like weird complaints, like erroneous complaints or abused complaints or what? Like, are they going to throw you in with like? Is that some kind of weird skill matching thing where they're going to
So,
put you against all the hardcore people? Like, how are they going to control this? Or
so
um, I guess my other thing is, or would it be like it's going to take you longer to find games? So you're going to be stuck waiting 5-10 minutes to find a game
yeah,
as opposed to like instantaneously or a couple minutes.
yeah. So the first thing that you kind of mentioned it. So there is no skill-based matchmaking in Vigor.
No,
Okay,
there isn't.
so that
Except
to
for your
me,
first 10 matches,
yeah, yes, for
approximately.
beginners,
Yeah.
which it's like, okay, so I'm assuming this does not mean that there is skill-based matchmaking and that it is not being implemented. Like the way I first read it, I was like, "Oh my god, is there actually something
Yeah.
that is going to be done?" But I don't think that's what it means. I think it's what the last thing you mentioned was.
Taking
Don't forget
longer.
taking longer because if you report everyone, I'm assuming if you report someone, you are not. Odds are that you are not going to be in a lobby with them again. So
Okay,
if you
yeah, that's possible.
so let's say you report a ridiculous amount of people. Let's say you report 100 people, and then like, I'm just using random numbers. Okay, so
Sure.
let's say you report 100 people, but let's say there's maybe 1,000 people playing at that time when you're searching for games. It's going to take you longer to search. So I think that's what they're trying to say right here is if you falsely report a ton of people, you are literally taking people out of the pool. So I'm literally wondering if that's what part of this is you're essentially like blocking someone so you won't be matched with them anymore.
That actually makes sense, and then
Until
it makes a little bit more sense in my head now too,
yeah,
because yeah, you report somebody, then it's like there's a flag that's put on saying, okay, you will not be put into a game with that person,
yeah.
and
And
if they're like if they're queuing up at the same time as you, then okay, one or two of you are going to like it's because you're the one who reported them. It might be
yeah,
that if they're in a queue, then you have to wait to the next queue, kind of
yes,
thing.
I would think so. And then um like I would think this temporary like thing where you wouldn't get matched in the lobby with them, I would think once because obviously someone is going to have to investigate all these reports, right?
Yeah.
And because it actually says they will be surveilled or and investigated. So maybe once this is, this is investigated and they're like, okay, no, everything's legit. There's no issues here. Maybe after the fact, then that person's re-added to like the pool of players that you can queue up against. But I think like yeah, especially like if you just mass report everyone, uh, I think that's how it's
Uh,
affecting your player pool of
Yeah,
like who you're
it'll
going to
really
get
affect your player pool.
thrown in. So
Yeah.
and we've kind of had that issue. Well, sorry, I say we, but I remember back in the day, like Overwatch had a similar reporting thing, and it just seemed like it did the same thing where it's like the more people that you reported, it seemed like people would like take longer to queue in type thing. So,
So,
but
yeah,
anyways,
I guess it depends, like, it's the more people you report, it's gonna negatively affect you worse. But then you gotta consider if a whole bunch of people report on a single person, well, then, yeah, it's gonna be there's a better chance that that person will have some kind of action taken against them depending
yeah,
on if it all work if they investigate and it seems legit. Now,
Yeah.
I guess if they investigate and they determine no, this person is not cheating, I wonder if they clear that flag. That'd be kind of interesting. Like,
well, no,
and so
I
like
would
you may
expect
see
them
them
to.
again.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I said, right? Like, I
yeah,
honestly think they're not going to forever say, because then what stops someone saying, "Hey, I see so and so in my lobby. I never want to play them again. Report them so I never get matched up with them." Right? That is not a legit
yeah,
reason for
no,
reporting someone.
no,
And so, to me, it would make sense to actually like allow that kind of behavior, right? So I would think, okay, they investigated it, nothing was found that was out of the ordinary. Boom, you're back with that person, which
right.
is a legit thing. Now, if you keep reporting that same person, there may be consequences to your actions. We don't know. This is, I guarantee you, the next dev stream that there is going to be a ton of questions about this, because I know there's quite a few people in various streams have had questions regarding this.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Let's take a quick peek at a couple of these categories again. So the first one was AFK, intentional dying. So disconnected, AFK, present but not participating, and purposeful dying. So those are going to be situations. Well, those are obviously situations that happen in elims. Maybe a bit in.
yeah.
I don't think in shootout as much, because who's going to be purposefully dying in shootout? I don't know.
uh,
Like,
I
would
don't
you
know if I
report
want to
somebody for
advertise stuff.
AFK in encounters? Right?
Encounters, no.
Yeah.
But like someone who is trying to farm like kills in shootout with a friend, to me, that would probably fall under this category.
That might fall under
Because
cheating then. If someone's that, because
no,
that
no,
would be more
because
like,
if you look at the definitions, though,
well,
they it's not either one of those,
oh,
but it
so
is
like I see you're
purposely
saying
dying.
intentionally dying to a friend. Like,
Yes.
you keep saying the same name coming up, saying this person's killed
Yeah.
this person, and they keep doing it.
Yes.
Then I
Yeah.
get you now. Yeah, you're right. That
So
would be more purposeful dying or intentionally dying. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but then, so yeah, these are definitely more, but shootout and elimination related though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of demand for that, right? Too, because you see a lot of people dropping out, when it's a
I guess
one-sided limb match. So it's like, this
disconnected, I
is
guess, could fall under encounters a bit. If you're in a fight with
yeah.
somebody and then they disappear,
Hmm.
like they're no longer there, like they disconnected,
Hmm.
then you could. But the
Yeah.
problem is, how are you going to prove who it was, right?
Yeah. So
Unless you remember who they were, like what they looked like, and who you're fighting looks the same, kind of thing. So it can't be a
yes.
green coat, because everyone there's so many green coats out there.
Yeah.
But if it's somebody with a specific skin, maybe you could, say, oh yeah, this I
Yeah.
was fighting this person, I recognize what they looked like. So that
Yeah.
could be one I could see for an encounter, disconnected.
Yeah.
Um, but the other ones, they're more definitely geared towards shootout and elims.
Yeah.
The negative one, negative attitude, um, griefing, taunting. That's kind of, that gets into the teabagging, that kind of thing. People just
Yeah.
being kind of jerks as they're after they kill you or whatever, that kind of thing. The offensive hand
Yeah.
gestures is, unless they take out the offensive hand gestures, like, how can you report somebody for using an emote that they have?
Yeah. This one I find is a slippery slope.
Yeah,
And don't get me wrong, I don't like it. I don't approve people like emoting after they kill someone. Like, I at best
yeah,
I'll do like a salute or a hey,
yeah.
but I
If I
don't.
yeah,
I it's definitely a slippery slope, but there is definitely some emotes that are used to like taunt people after they get killed. Uh, and the hand gesture, like you said, like there's one literally in the game that is like points a middle finger, where it's
yeah.
like,
It's
can
the Guardians of the
you,
Galaxy one, so it's like,
yeah.
they put it in.
Yeah, this one's definitely a slippery slope, and it's like, so if someone's shooting a dead body, I'm assuming that would be considered griefing.
Here's another one another kind of thing kind of worries me a little bit. All the people who complain about camping, may use that now as negative attitude. I know it doesn't specifically say camping, but people who are like, "Oh, you camper, I'm going to report you," and so you know, whether or not they're actually camping, because sometimes it's hard to prove that someone's actually camping. Maybe if you watch them for a little bit after they killed you, and it's hard. But then, are they being cautious, or are they actually camping? It's this one. So I think there's going to be potential problems there.
Yeah, and technically, if someone was camping and I was going to report them for camping, wouldn't you report them for being AFK?
Maybe, yeah. You could say they were AFK. They were just sitting there forever. Even after they killed me, they just sat there.
But no, this honestly, like I said, I think the next dev stream, there are going to be a ton of questions, and I think there's going to have to be communication upon where it's like, what is considered like taunting, griefing. Like, you almost need to set like parameters or something like that.
Yeah.
Because and don't get me wrong, like I said, I absolutely hate people like doing anything after someone dies. Like, just move on. You got the kill, loot the body, go. And
I think part of the problem, though, as far as I understand, because I think they were testing this on Dizzy's stream, Dizzy Online, check it out. They when they were on the dev servers, he and War Dog both played around with the reporting, and I don't like, it's just like you choose the person, you hit the category you're reporting them for, and that's it, and then it says there's the feedback. So there's no opportunity to put a little message in, to elaborate,
add more context and whatnot.
or whatever. So I think a little addition like that might help. So that they have a better idea of why you're reporting them, other than negative attitude. Okay, well, and
no, that's an excellent point.
Yeah, and the last one's cheating, unapproved third-party programs, and abusing glitches. That's like, again, it's, you're going to be reporting people, and again, it's the kind of thing, you're reporting this person, and if it works the way we're anticipating it works, you won't be seeing them again. But I guess, and hopefully they'll maybe they have ways of looking into it to see if there's a chance that somebody's using a third-party program. It's just, how do you prove it, right? Is someone really good, or is it actually a third-party program?
So they mentioned it in the dev stream that
did they? Okay.
They were working on ways to kind of detect it, because Vigor is not the only game that has issues, right? So like I remember reading an article about actual like COD and Activision going to Xbox and Sony saying, can you help us deal with these third-party things? And basically both of them, Xbox or Microsoft and Sony, basically said no. So it is up to the developers to basically like handle it. And there's been progress, but it's slow, and it doesn't matter how big the studio is. So hopefully at some point someone does figure out how to do it, because they're obviously, like, you could tell what people are doing, because like there's input, and they're like, they've mentioned it that they're logging a ton of stuff that they could look through.
Right.
So odds are, and they kind of mentioned it before too. At one point, dupers, it's like they knew who the dupers were, because they could see what they were doing. Like, maybe not someone in the encounter was seeing it, but they could see it like in the server logs or whatnot. I don't know exactly. It was kind of like mentioned vaguely. They don't go into too much detail, but maybe this is the same thing where they say they'll surveil like whoever gets reported, and they'll be able to look at the logs and see, okay, this person is legit or this person's not.
Right.
So
right. And then abusing glitches, and that one's going to be interesting too. I guess it depends on how. I guess we'll see what happens with it. Like how they can check to see if someone's actually abusing a glitch. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because that's one thing, right? Like someone may say, "Oh, they're abusing a glitch because I didn't even see them." Well, it's like maybe it was a desync issue, right? Like sometimes you'll see an Outlander or at one point, Outlanders weren't even carrying a gun, and you got shot by them, and it's like that was a desync issue. It wasn't
Yeah.
them cheating. Um, so yeah, this whole reporting thing, I love it. I think there definitely has to be communication upon the expectance of like the community and how the reports are going to be. I really love that idea about like adding a comment, because like Xbox, when we report someone through Xbox, we have that opportunity to add context,
Yeah.
right, instead of just the categories, to kind of clarify and give additional reasoning. um, and my understanding, and Doc, you have a PlayStation. Maybe you could tell me this. Um, Someone told me that Xbox or PlayStation actually doesn't have like a report a player functionality.
I don't know because I've never looked for it.
Okay, okay, because I'm wondering if part of the reason why this was created was because those other platforms may not have that thing.
Hmm.
This also helps the devs deal directly with reporting instead of
Yeah.
having people post people on like Reddit or Discord or whichever social media as well, right?
Now,
So it's
one
one central
thing,
area too to like report
yeah,
people.
one thing that PlayStation has had for quite a while is, I think, who you last played with.
Mhm.
That has been a thing on PlayStation in Vigor. I think since it came out.
Yeah,
So that it's more new for Xbox, but and now tied in with this whole being able to report somebody, it's
yeah,
kind of cool that they now have that, like the ability to see who you've played with. Because
yeah,
say you had you made friends in the Outlands and you had a good time, just running around with some guy. Now
yeah,
you could say, oh yeah, I ran around with this guy. Then you can maybe try to befriend him, kind of thing, right?
yeah,
It doesn't have to be about reporting somebody for something bad.
yeah,
Though I don't know if there's
yeah.
other
So
options. Like when you click on them, is the
yeah,
only option to report them, or is there other options?
what do you mean?
Well, like in the when you go into your category there and you go into people you played with on Xbox there and you see the names, right, of who
Yes,
you last played with. When you
yeah.
click on them, what other is that the only option is for reporting, or is it for can you like
Oh,
send a
you mean
message
on that on through that
through
menu
Vigor?
in the last bit?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I don't know, but I know in the lobbies for Xbox, right, you could view the profiles of each player
That
after the
you've
fact,
played
and
with
then
recently. Yeah.
same thing with eliminations on the on the new scoreboard. You could actually toggle and go through the profiles that way too, and add them as friends that way, I believe.
Right, right.
So,
Well, I guess it's a
but
good way to see
for
who you're
this,
playing with and to maybe remind you of someone's name.
yeah,
Because if you did like somebody and say, "Oh, hey, I want to try to befriend this person," then you know,
yeah,
but then now you also have this ability to report. So
yeah,
it could be fun. It could be good.
yeah,
What else
and
to be
one other thing too, I was actually having this discussion this week with someone, uh, because at one point someone was saying that there is no actual like end user agreement uh, for Vigor. There's actually one on the website. It is very basic, but it basically like the basic things about the thing is like you're not allowed to hack, modify, reverse engineer the game or any game files, its data or network services. You're not allowed to cheat, create cheats, or promote cheats in the game. Um, yeah, so there is actually a end user license agreement, and obviously because you play the game, you accept the terms. So
But did it ever is it one that when you first install the game ever pops up?
no, I don't think
Yeah.
it's ever popped up.
See
But by
isn't that kind of nebulous then? Because if you don't if you've never gone to their website, how can they say, like
because it may
you're
be
bound
part
by
of
this?
like it may be part of like the footnote when you go to install the game from the store or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah, it might be in the there. It's true. It could be in
So
part of the footnote, or check out the end user agreement here. Maybe.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You can check that
anyways,
out.
there actually is one, but it doesn't
Yeah.
like specify like anything, any consequences or whatnot. I don't know if at some point there will be an expansion upon this agreement. I was trying to find out like if this has ever been edited. Like there's a Wayback Machine on the internet where you could see old revisions of web
Yeah.
pages. I did see that there were other revisions, but I was not able to see what the changes were from those
Okay.
revisions. But anyways,
Right. Okay. Wow. That's reporting. So yeah, that's the whole thing about the new reporting system.
yeah.
Next is so they've made some changes to somehow how the game has how some of the mechanics work. One being drop shotting. They say they've mitigated drop shotting. Um, check out Fox's video. He does a little bit of this in his. It just shows um, when you're firing, and he was using in his examples the M249. Um, when you're and that's a gun that where you can just like can do a continual stream of bullets. And when he
Mhm.
laid down as he was firing, um, the weapons bloom, the aim bloom got really wide as he was going down, and then when he got down, it narrowed down again. So I guess the way they're mitigating it is to make it less accurate, right? Now, if you're like 10 feet away from somebody and they're firing at you with an M249, even if the bloom goes big, I think the
Yeah.
chances of you surviving are pretty slim. But
Yeah.
um, but that's essentially it. So
Yeah.
it's not that you stop firing or anything like that. It's just that the bloom gets really big and in theory it's supposed to be less accurate. So
Yeah. When you're going up or down.
yeah,
Which like I was glad that he showed it with like an LMG because
hmm
um
they are kind
the
of the big
examples
thing right
I've
now.
seen, yeah, and the thing, if you used an assault rifle, like I think that guy Brian Evans showed it with a bugle, and it wasn't as noticeable.
Mm,
Like the bloom going bigger, but with Fox's example uh, of actually like using a machine gun, it was very very clear that boom, like your crosshairs were like really really big.
yeah.
Um, now I don't know how you feel about this, Doc. I think it's a slight improvement. I don't, and I think that's why they use the word mitigated, um, because it is a change to it. Is it going to curtail the use of the drop shot? I honestly don't know. I think there might be a slight mitigation or slight downturn in like the
Right.
usage, but like honestly, like I honestly think that, and Fox kind of pointed, actually pretty much every video that I've seen, it's like ideally, literally, you cannot shoot when you're in the process of diving down, uh, because it's pretty ridiculous, especially when you consider like a machine gun, where it's like they're heavy enough as is, and you're expecting someone to literally go prone and still fire a weapon. I know the bloom is like massive and everything like
Yeah.
that, but it still doesn't quite make sense. Uh, which I think, like I said, I like it. I like it as a first step, but I was actually talking about it on stream this week because someone was asking my opinion on it, and I almost want to say that, and I mentioned it as a first step because I don't think something that would really affect movement, where they would actually stop like firing a weapon while going down prone, I would think is a major change. And I don't think they would introduce this in a mid-season update because I think
Mm,
this is a big that would be a big change.
right.
Whereas they do this little tweak to it and see how it goes, and
Maybe
then
down
they
the
could
line.
reevaluate. Yeah, they could reevaluate because this gives them. I don't remember how far left we have in the season, but like they could evaluate and see, okay, this does work, but we need to do it more type thing, or bring it that next step. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if there is something more to come when it comes to this. And it's not like
I'm just saying,
go
to
ahead.
me, it would make more sense, and I know it's probably a lot more work, is if you stop firing altogether. Like you're
Yes.
changing your
Yeah.
firing position, you stop firing, and then you have to start firing, like manually start firing again
Yeah.
from the new position. But like you
Yeah.
said, it could be a lot more work for them. Another
Yeah.
thing that popped into my head as you were talking, you said that it didn't look as bad with like the bugle, and I wonder if it's somewhat tied to the updates that the reworking of the recoil system,
Yes.
because like
Yeah.
the LFGs or the machine guns have all been reworked, but the assault rifles have not. So
Nope.
if it's tied, then that would make more sense why the bugle isn't seeing the
Yeah.
as much, right? That could be.
Yeah. Could be. But it's not like it's not like the drop shot change it comes out of left field where it wasn't even like on the radar. Literally, for the longest time, it's been asked about by the
Yep.
community for something to stop it or curtail the use, because it is a ridiculous mechanic, and the devs have said it from the beginning that it is not. It is a mechanic that is in the game. However, it is not the way it was intended.
Yep.
So it's not like this is a surprise, and the drop shotters should complain that they took it out of nowhere, because it is they literally everyone's been like saying it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, and it's good that they're working on it, and it's whether it's a first step or a third step. I guess maybe like it's like a second step, because they have reworked the dropping animation in the past. Like, and I think even I'm not sure if it was this season or the season before,
oh
where
yeah,
as you're going down, it's a
two
little
three seasons
slower.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they did rework the animation a bit. It didn't really totally stop it, but
Yeah.
it did have a bit of an effect.
Yeah.
So it's just as they're going. So this is the next step for
Yeah.
sure. Next thing that they've done that's changed functionality, or how the game is Stagger.
Yes.
So that was interesting. If you check out Dizzy's video, you'll see some examples of that when they're playing some of Lim's Dizzy and War Dog. So if you get hit by a weapon, it gives you like the Stagger now includes a bit of the sort of like the stun you get from like a grenade, that kind of
The
double
improvised
vision,
mine is a
or
better
improvised mine. That,
example.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
that's the one that does that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Did you notice like was it with all weapons, or was it like certain weapons more?
So it's not every weapon. So basically, if you go through the weapon list, right,
Yeah.
there's an attribute that actually has stagger.
Oh,
Is
right. Yeah, yeah.
depicted by like a person. I think they're slightly tilted, and there's like
Yeah.
3 stars above their head. Is the attribute that's the furthest right
Yeah.
on the screen. Now, like Mosin, I believe the PH does it too. The SWSH, the Combat Magnum, most of
Shotguns.
the shotguns, I believe.
Yeah. If
Um,
not all. Yeah, I'm not sure. But what
yeah,
you
the
think?
Chartschützengewehr, which, oh my god, I think I actually nailed that name, or as
Yay.
close as I could. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so those are some of the weapons that do have stagger.
Okay.
And then
So it's a
it
stag
basically
weapon. Makes
comes,
sense.
yeah. And then it's going to also apply now to mortars. Mortars is getting a nice little buff, I think, from this.
Hmm. Oh
But
my. Yeah.
so what I noticed, and Dizzy actually did it on stream. I actually asked him, "Can you use a mortar on yourself?" So not all mortar strikes are actually going to like. It basically has to be almost a direct hit for you to get staggered. There was a mortar that hit not too far away from him, and it actually didn't stagger him. It was basically the one that like landed pretty much at his feet or like next to him.
Right.
So, but I still think this is a pretty good buff for mortar strikes, contact bombs. I'm assuming booby traps. No one's actually tried out a booby trap, but I'm pretty sure Fox used a contact bomb. I'm wondering if the improvised mine got a tweak as well now with
Maybe.
it, because this actually slows down your movement too. That's another thing, part of the stagger. Your movement's actually slowed when you're staggered. So yeah, there it is kind of cool.
I wonder if
I kind of like it.
the airdrop booby trap
The booby
would
trap.
do the same kind of
Well,
thing.
I would, if it is prevalent in the actual booby trap, I would think so
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yes. So it is, and one thing too is, I think staggering too when you're using the weapons. Um, I know currently I find sometimes it's hit and miss. So I don't know if it's distance wise or if it's where you hit someone.
Yeah.
But it seems like sometimes like I'll hit someone with a SWSH and you don't get that stagger. Um, so I'm wondering if consistency is also part of this. Um, but anyways, it is a nice little tweak to the stagger functionality. And like I said, I think mortars are getting a nice little buff out of this too. So
Nice. Yeah. No, and it's kind of neat. Another neat little change that they've made. So
yeah,
really interesting to see how it actually affects things as you're out there. You're gonna find
yeah,
it really frustrating, or you're gonna find it really advantageous.
yeah,
Yeah, which could work out both ways, I guess. It's
yes,
frustrating and
exactly.
advantageous.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
And did you? I don't know too much about this one. So, do you know much about the game guide improvements?
so the game guide, if you look currently at the game guide, it is very basic.
Hmm.
There is not a ton of info in there. They and this is part of the new player onboarding experience that has been going for like a year, or not a year and a half, like a season and a half, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, it is a very detailed from like everything I've seen in the streams. I think there's like 7 or 8 tabs initially, but then there's actually subsection to each section, which is like, it is super detailed. It is much needed documentation within the game, which is something that the devs actually said they wanted to do. Because like at one point I said, hey, there are some really good guides out there on YouTube and the partner videos and whatnot. I wasn't meaning to plug our podcast for beginner players, but there's literally some content out there that is good for that, and they did specify they wanted something within the game itself, so people didn't have to go out. But it is
Right.
very very detailed. It is like it's hard to read it while it's on a video and
Yeah.
whatnot, but it is very very detailed. Like I said, like you have main header sections which then break down into additional sections, so it is way more detailed than currently.
Mm. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're always going to have other people doing guides, right?
yeah,
Like you said, it's nice that they've done this and make it, try to make it a bit more friendly. But when we think of all the different types of games out there that are like this or whatever, like Tarkov, there's no real guide in Tarkov other than like
Mhm.
what the
Reddit, YouTube,
yeah, that's it. You got to go to Reddit, you got to go to
streams.
YouTube, you got to find all the different spreadsheets that are out there. That's
Yeah,
the guide, right? So
yeah,
this game, being a lot more friendly, it's maybe a lower barrier to, for entry compared to those kind of
yeah,
games. But still, the fact that they've done this is nice. Hopefully, it'll help new players a lot. Though I still think they'll probably be going looking for some of the other guides out
yeah,
there for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And then they've reworked the elimination mode user interface a bit. Um, so we can probably show a little bit of that. Like I have a couple screenshots that we can show just for a couple of the things. Um, but mostly, what is it? So they've uh, changed the loadout screen. So I don't have a picture of that. where it'll now show how many people picked which loadout. So does that show? How does that work? Does that show like when? Is that like when all the two teams are? Because we know when you're picking your loadout, it's just your team looking at that loadout.
Yeah, it's probably the other team. So Wardog kind of mentioned it on Dizzy Stream, where it's like there's a little picture of like a person icon that appears above the selected item, and
Oh, okay.
so he said that looked like it was new.
Yeah, so
So
he
I'm
could
like,
tell that it was just him and Dizzy in at the time.
yeah,
So he knew Dizzy took that loadout.
yeah. So it looks like
Okay.
that is the change. The issue is like it's hard for all the partners to coordinate, right? Because
Yeah,
if it's
no,
just
yeah.
like one or two, it's hard to really like nail some of these things, because like Christopher Beast didn't have anyone in his video. Half Metal Fox, same thing.
Yeah.
That guy Brian Evans, the same thing. And it's like people's schedules don't work out, so it's like they try to like do their best they can. And if it's just like 1v1, it's like maybe that feature doesn't like pop as much.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm kind of curious if it is like everyone who picks that loadout, it's like you could see everyone's going with the PH and Remy loadout in the eliminations type thing.
Yeah. Do you want to do the
That's
same or
kind
you
of
want
neat.
to try to get something different? I
Yeah.
guess that might also, we'll have to see if that affects buying of tickets as well. Like now that you can see what people are taking, are more people going to buy tickets so that they can choose what loadout they want more often
Hmm.
and then just taking the default, what's available, or,
Yeah.
yeah. Show points when you get a kill and your team winning in the kill feed. So yeah, I have a little pic of this. So now, like right in the top corner of your screen, when there's a kill feed there, whenever you get points, it'll pop up and show you, which is
Yeah.
kind of neat. So it adds that whole you accumulating points.
Yeah, it's a nice quality
Show you.
of life update because you know how much point
Yeah.
you're accumulating. Because right now, you only see points when you actually do damage to a person, right? It pops up and you'll see like plus
Yeah.
55 because you did 55 damage or whatnot. This is just adds more detail to that.
Yeah, making it a little bit more visible, um, so that you can maybe keeping a mental tally without looking at the scoreboard, kind of thing. If you don't like to look at the scoreboard when you're playing, kind of thing,
Yeah.
you'll just see when you're getting points. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then the scoreboard, they do just rework the first page a little bit, showing like this is from Dizzy and Wardog
Yeah.
stream, I should say, and showing your team, your points, your team's points, how many boosts, if there was any boosts, what percentage it is, that kind of thing. So just a nice little. Now it's going to be a lot bigger, obviously, when you have more players, but
Yeah.
yeah, nice little change just to give a bit more visibility, I guess.
Yeah. Real time
Yeah,
updates. You can see all that info. So
yeah, yeah. And then they changed. They added some animations. We don't have those to show, unfortunately. But
yeah,
they changed some of
the
the end
reward
game
screen.
animations. Yeah, the reward screen. Uh, Now, because we were only seeing one-on-one play in the limbs with Dizzy and Wardog, we didn't get to see what it was like for a team. Um, so I don't know,
Mm.
is everyone going to get their own individual end screen, or is it going to be like a team is going to be there?
Oh, I don't
That's what I'm
know.
wondering. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good shout because right now it's like you have all five players typically, and they're all kind of doing some kind of emote,
yeah,
and they're kind of like on a peer type thing. But
right.
yeah, this new one, I love it because it's like
It was
you
nice.
have that person emoting or like they're doing like a certain emote or gesture, and then you hear you see like a crane lift like a crate, a loading crate, and then
A
someone
container.
shoots
Yeah,
it. Yeah, oh sorry, container, a shipping
yeah.
container, and then someone shoots it, and then it spills open with the crate
With the
on the pier
rewards, I
type
guess,
thing.
coming out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
it
like
is pretty
if you
cool.
lost, your guys on the ground like oh, being sad, and if you won, I think it's more of a celebratory kind of yay kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Wardog said that he actually like he was doing the air guitar emote.
Oh, the air guitar. Okay, there was. Yeah.
Now, Dizzy's, I was interested because some of the gestures, they're not actually emotes right now.
Yeah, so if
Because
Warlock is
there was like
doing
a
air
banging of the
guitar,
head,
yeah,
yeah,
banging of his head, yeah, or like on his
uh,
knees crying kind of
yeah,
thing.
sobbing.
So
So it's like,
yeah,
are those two potential new emotes that may be coming in the future? I don't know, but we're
even with this
excited. I'd be
update,
excited
you
for
never
it.
know. Yeah, it would be kind of
Yeah.
neat.
I don't think it would be
So
with this update because usually you unlock them through the battle pass, right? So
unless they make them available through the store, but yeah,
yeah,
that's true. Maybe it'll be the next battle pass. We'll see them.
yeah,
Yeah, preview of what's to come. That'd be kind of cool if there were some more emotes for sure. And
yes,
we don't have a lot of emotes where someone's like changing position, like getting on their knees kind of thing. Like we don't really
yeah,
have that. So that'd be kind of neat.
yep.
Yeah. So that's what they've done with Elimination Mode UI. Do we know if they've done anything with Shootout UI? Have we heard anything?
No, I don't think so. It
Okay.
wasn't mentioned. Like this
Yeah.
is from like the splash screen, right?
Yeah, just from
Where
that
it
splash
actually
screen.
specified eliminations. Um, so yeah, and I'm kind of wondering if these were some changes that were they wanted to put into Elim because we just got a reworked Elims, and
Yeah,
maybe they just weren't ready in time for like the season 12 release. So
that's true.
and then they just came out with this, but
Yeah.
sorry.
Now we've already talked about the new premium pack because it was part of the splash
Yeah.
screen. So we kind of talked about that already. So take us
Mhm.
through I guess that's the last thing that really we have to talk about mainly.
Well, Legacy
Oh,
Season 8 is also being released.
oh, I missed that. Yeah, you're right. New Legacy
Um,
season.
so Legacy Season 8, Trappers. Now, this is a season that they focused more on bug fixes, so there wasn't a ton of new content. The only big release with this was the PH M82 sniper rifle, which
Yeah.
honestly, I love this sniper. I say it all the time. Uh, Now, maybe sniping is not for everyone, but I love it. So in case, and actually, season 8 was when Legacy seasons actually came out. So we've actually come full circle, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, there'll still
So
be legacy seasons to come because obviously
yes,
9,
yeah.
10, 11,
Mhm.
those will come out too. But yeah,
So
that there we
we've
go. So
come
we've
all the way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like
We've
Inception now
released the
almost.
legacy season, the season that started it all the legacy seasons. Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go. And
But
Trappers
yeah,
was an interesting season. It wasn't some of my favorite cosmetics.
no.
Because it was like a lot, but they had some nice stuff in it. Was Trappers the one that had yeah, I think it was, right? The backpack that looked like it was like a bloody bag, like like as you went different levels of it, it looked like it was bleeding
Uh,
at the bottom, or was that a different season?
I'm not. I don't think so.
Might have been a different season.
Yeah, I think it was a different season.
Yeah, because it had you know what? I think it was last season actually. I think it was the
Yeah,
season with the
it
Vikings because
was.
it had the
Yeah,
swinging knife on it, and that was new.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that wasn't Trappers. That would have been a
yeah.
good one for Trappers, but it wasn't Trappers. Okay.
Could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, it was
Uh
the backpack that had like the deer head type thing hanging from it.
oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah. So there we go. Legacy season 8 and then really the last thing is the changes to Iodine. A
yeah,
lot of people have been sort of clamoring for this and so they obliged. They've now made it military grade as you can see here. So now a stack will be 3 as opposed to just 2.
yeah,
Um, the materials has been adjusted. Here it's 3,900. Do
yeah,
materials change for consumables?
yeah.
I know crafting time does. Yeah, there is a
Utility
discount.
utility
Utility
room.
room. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, these numbers here are based on this is from Dizzy's
yeah,
stream. So, based on what his preview build was at. So, whatever though, it's maintaining the military levels.
yeah.
Yeah. So, timing and material wise, it's the same as other um, military grade. So that's a big change. But if you have a bunch of iodine and you want to get a bunch of materials right away before this drops, maybe do some deconstruction.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might be doing that.
I said it on Dizzy stream. Actually, Dizzy called this a Dizzy exclusive, and he's the only partner that actually pointed it out. So shout out to Dizzy for noticing this, I guess. But I was like, oh my god, I'm like, I'm going to deconstruct all these because I'm like, I'd rather have the materials. He's like, but you're going to need them for the rad nades. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, it's like,
Because we're at
I'll
the
just craft
levels.
them if I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to take it in, I can craft it instantaneously because we're at that level. I already craft like grenades and ports and armor all the time.
Yeah.
So, I don't need to have however many hundred iodine I have in my stash. I've been holding on to mine because I've been trying to finish my chemical distillation. I'm like one away. But I still need a couple thousand chem, I think it is. Oh no, it's 700. I'm down to 700 chem. But if it drops, I'm not going to get 700 chem before it drops. So I'm just going to deconstruct it at level 12 and get it from that. But yeah, good time to get a whole bunch of materials before this. But it'll be nice because now it's going to be cheaper to construct it when I need it, and because at the levels we're at, it's instantaneous. So but I haven't run into a lot of grenades yet. I had one when I was doing. Was I doing when we were doing our lone wolf episode? I'm not sure if it was a lone wolf one or not, but it was right around that time. So it was either a lone wolf match or it might have been a regular match, but it was during that time period. When I was going to Signals, this was on Berlin Bridge. I was going to Signals, and somebody was coming around the house because this is at the Kafe Lise house across the river, so on the northern part. I was going to the Signals. Someone was on the other side of that house, and they threw a rad grenade, but they didn't quite get me. Like they didn't get 2 signals. But I could see that there was the flakes all around. So someone was using them to try to block signals. I was able to use signals, but then I was, trying to get to him, but I couldn't find him, and he threw a second, and that time he did get signals. So he basically blocked signals for people for the rest of that match. But that's the only time I've run into it. Is that one time so far?
I've run into like a few, but not a ton. I think the most prevalent time was I was running some duos, and it was on Grontheim. So the car bridge, and then there's the red house that has Bard sometimes and Time Vault. Well, they actually threw the radiation grenades there, so literally spoiled both the loot events.
Oh wow,
that's the worst time I've seen. Other than that, like I've run into a couple of them because they're just random, like they were throwing fights or whatnot. But like honestly, like iodine is like I'm still going to bring some in to combat radiation grenades. It's like they're so prevalent. Well, I don't want to say they're so prevalent, but like you could easily find 3 or 4 now if you're really looking for iodine. So it's like if I find it, I'm like I'll use it, but to me it's just another means to getting materials, honestly.
Yeah, totally same. Like I don't bring it in, and same. If I find it, maybe I'll use it, but if not, I'll try to hold on to it so I can get it out. But so there you go. So now, well, actually, now that it's it's still a good way to get materials because military grade, but not as good as it was. So maybe now it'd be more desirable to better chance of using it now that it's purple instead of gold. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if it makes a much difference. And how we actually use it.
One thing I forgot to mention this, going back to the report a player functionality. I do have a concern with the, I guess, onslaught of reports that we're going to get, because it is a small dev team. So is there someone new that's coming aboard, or who is going to be the unfortunate recipient and going to have to look into all these things because I don't foresee them being like a couple of reports a week. There's probably going to be a ton, to be honest. So I'm just wondering, resource wise, is this going to hinder someone's actual like responsibilities in some other aspect or whatnot, or is there literally going to be someone literally just responsible into looking into these? I'm kind of curious, but
yeah, no, that's true. And you know how things have been, things always change a little bit, and yeah, and maybe I'll take this time too, not that they'll hear this, but to congratulate one of the bigger team members who've changed positions recently, because the community manager, Pyrit, has now changed roles. So they're
yep.
now a producer. That's
Yes.
nice. That's kind of cool. That's good to see that
Which
people are, staying with the company
now,
but trying new roles.
yes, and now maybe she will be on the dev stream and she will be the one asked all the questions and had to answer.
The other
Even
side
though,
of the
like,
chair.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're actually looking for another one because usually there's two of them, right? So there's Forsythia, who is now,
Forsythia.
I guess, in the current position or where Pyrit was, and now there's going to be a second one. So
yeah, so that'll be interesting. So hopefully that works out, and yeah, we'll see. And maybe with these changes, maybe there's more people are coming in too. So that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, because like you said, with all these reports, someone's going to have to look into them.
yeah.
So yeah,
because I don't think there's going to be any automations for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like,
so, unless it's disconnects and stuff like that, maybe you could automate that. But yeah, I don't.
Maybe.
So someone's definitely going to have to look into it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, it's gonna be someone's job. So I guess it depends on how. Well, no way to know. I guess they're pretty. They eventually will release stats. They're pretty good with coming out with stats every once in a while. So they'll come up with this is what's been happening, and this gun's been used this much, and all that. So we'll see. Maybe after they've done this, and I don't know if they'll might be a season or so before we start hearing how some stats on it. But it'd be interesting to when they start talking about it, find out how it's going. And maybe there'll be an update and it'll be gone because it's just crazy. Who knows? I guess we'll see. But anyways, yeah, that is it. That is what we've seen and has been talked about for the 12.1 update that's coming out. Hopefully,
lots
it'll
of
be in a
quality
week.
of life updates.
Yeah, a lot of quality of life, but some, even some animation updates, which is kind of cool. Some real visible stuff, which is kind of neat. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, we don't really. I think that's about it. That's a good place to stop. And here we go. Thanks again for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. We like to see your comments and we reply to them. And yeah, looking forward to it. So until next time, I'm Dr. Anton.
And I'm DJ Spencer.
And stay safe in the Outlands and have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Lost your way again. You don't see your end. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. I know you'll find your way. You must be calm anyway. Grab your chance and flame up your dream. Flame up your